In other news, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, dedicated to the people of India to celebrate the country's glorious history, culture and achievements. This week we are taking you to the mesmerizing region of India, Jammu and Kashmir, to celebrate the spirit of Kashmir. From the 23rd to the 29th of October, this week-long celebration is going to witness the history, culture, food and art of Jammu and Kashmir, which makes your spirit to indulge in the flavor of Kashmir. This celebration is happening across Srinagar, Pahalgam, Jammu and Katra. Let's go directly to Srinagar for an invigorating panel discussion that's currently on the theme of Mission Youth J&K.
I think you're absolutely right. We've had some very good times in the last couple of months, and that has happened after the post-COVID era. Like Ms. Suri was mentioning, that there is a stability factor. Our industry is extremely fragile, and a lot of things that happen around the industry impact our industry. And like you said very rightly, it's not just the hospitality business. It's employment generation. It's contributing back to the economy. It is giving the local arts, handicrafts, people involved in the industry, not directly but indirectly, a lot of livelihoods. So I think for any government, and I think more specifically for the government of Jammu and Kashmir, with such a beautiful location, heaven on earth, it's imperative that we create an environment which is safe, it's accessible. And I think as far as accessibility is concerned, there are great flight connections, 60 flights a day, 8,000 people to be taken care of at the airport, which is great. But I think once we move on from the recent instability, I think we will be in a position to bolster business and grow our business. You may not be aware, but I think there have been a lot of influx of multiple brands coming into Kashmir now and growing their presence. So we have more and more hotels, not only opening in Srinagar, but opening in Pahalgam, in Sonmarg, in Gulmarg, in Tunmarg. And I think holistic development of tourism is what is really required. So I think we are on the right track. We should move ahead even better. It's a little bit a bump in the road what we had recently, but I think we are in the right direction.
Well, that should come as music to the ears of policy makers, because policy makers have been looking at Jammu and Kashmir as a state that requires a lot of hand-holding at the moment and a lot of positivity. So let me ask you, Vilas Pawar, from where Mr. Khosla left off. October 18th, almost 12,000 passengers travelled on 82 flights to and from Kashmir. It's a number that came from the Kashmir Airport Authority. And that gives you a sense of how Kashmir ranks right up there when it comes to tourism. I want to ask you, Mr. Khosla says there are a lot of brands coming in. You represent an American chain, budget hotels. There are different kinds of people who take to tourism in our country, and there is a need for all strata of society to have good hotels to come to. How do you look at Kashmir as a potential investment as well as a potential tourism hotspot, given the fact that militancy seems to be somewhere on the back burner, a little incidents here and there, but overall, what do you think about the investment climate?
Thank you, Navika. Thank you for having me over. I think it's, like Rohit said, it's a great opportunity here in Kashmir. Kashmir is, it's probably one of our top two, if not the topmost destination for tourism, with the potential of being the topmost destination for tourism. We don't get the kind of topography, the kind of culture and the history that goes with Kashmir in any part of the country as we get it here in Kashmir. There is, there is an opportunity to grow for tourism here is, we are at a very nascent stage right now. And there's a huge opportunity. Unfortunately, historically, Kashmir has, because of stability issues and incidents over here, has not been growing. But I would encourage the policy makers and the people involved in the tourism over here to actually have a very educated and calculated growth plan. Because we don't want to see Kashmir go down. Hello. Yeah, or the other lovely places like Sonmarg and Gulmarg go down the way the other hill stations have gone down in the country. So I think the opportunity to grow it calculatively is great. The brands are all available here. The only thing that everybody is waiting is to see a little bit more stability before they're coming in. Investments are with the going away of the Article 370, we've seen a great amount of interest developed in Kashmir. At least the word out there is that there's an opportunity. Let's look at it. I think people is waiting to see how stable things get. This state has got everything. From an international perspective, it's a shame to see and read the figures actually. In 2019, we had only about 58,000 foreign tourists and 16.6 million Indian tourists. 80% of the tourism that the state brings in is mostly religious. And that can easily be reversed. And we can really see a lot of tourism, not religious necessarily, but to enjoy people from overseas coming, because we got it all. It's pristine, it's clear, it's crisp. And I think there's an opportunity that, and I think it benefit the state because the ancillary revenues that tourism brings, employment in terms of the handicrafts, the purchasing power, everything goes up for the locals over here. And I think tourism, as we speak, contributes, if I may not be wrong, about 7 to 8% of the tourism GDP here for J&K is through tourism, and that has a capacity to really extrapolate into double or triple, double figures definitely over the years. So I think the opportunity is huge. Little bumps on the road, like we see, little incidents will obviously hamper it. Unfortunately, people outside the state don't know if little instance that happens in Kashmir somewhere, related directly to Srinagar. Everybody says, should we go there, should we not go there? But I think the recent figures that Navika, you shared with us on the 18th of October, those are good figures, very encouraging figures, and I think we should be able to see the next couple of years growing. And like Rohit said, there are brands coming in and there are brands waiting to come in. There are companies, there are investors ready to invest. This is a virgin territory in India right now.
That's very important when you say this is virgin.